What's happening, everybody? Wow, I was going through the old interwebs, and when I see something that just isn't right, got to say something. Just got to. This isn't meant to hurt anybody's feelings or anybody else. This is for educational purposes only. Now, basically, what's going on here is it looks like we're going to cover up this guy's name, but it looks like Capital One here is suing them, and you'll see these little comments that he's put up here next to them. This could actually get you in trouble. This is something that you should not do. Okay, when you tell them that they're a foreign bank, Capital One is not a foreign bank. What makes them not a foreign bank? Well, if they have a foreign registration filing statement filed in the Secretary of State's office, then they're not a foreign bank. So that's your first problem. And here's the other problem. This is clearly a debt case. And you're going to read, and as we get going through here, you're going to see that he says this is a response, but he never actually addresses the indebtedness, really. He never addresses what he's supposed to be doing. And this is the problem that we have in this movement, is that it seems like there's just a lot of narcissism that's just running rampant. And guys, this has to stop. If you want to beat these guys, you got to beat them with their own stick. You can't come in there and just bring your own argument in and decide that this is going to be precedence now, just because somebody on the internet told you this stuff. We can do this so much better than this. But let's read this right here. All right, comes now an aggrieved party. Well, this is lesson number one in dealing with a narcissist. The first thing a narcissist is going to do is play the victim. And look at this. We're 3 words into it, and we're the victim already. This doesn't solve problems, doesn't handle anything, okay? But let's keep going. UCC 1-201.2. Okay, well, that's defined as an aggrieved party. Big deal. All right. So this guy, which, by the way, this is not his name on the application that he filled out. So whatever he filled out on the application is precedence. Otherwise, he could be charged for fraud. So look here. Now he's identifying himself this way, and he thinks he's this. He also thinks he's that, which has no relevance. I mean, this is like saying, now comes your name, and I'm an electrician. Means nothing in a debt case like this. So it comes now, let's see, UCC 9-105, that's talking about, that's actually talking about your electronic signature, but I don't think he's addressing it properly. And then it says he's a non-person, he's a non-citizen, he's a non-resident, he's a non-this, he's a non-that. Well, apparently you must have been something because you signed this application. So the problem is that when you start declaring stuff like this, then they could go back to the application and say that you had an intent to commit fraud. You got to be really careful when you're doing this stuff, man. You got to study, and you got to know what you're doing, because this right here is going to send you down the wrong road real quick. And I guarantee you, this guy is going to lose this case. The participant in any government programs, the living man, the American national, there's no such thing. The secured party creditor under special appearance. You can't be under special appearance unless you use it up here at the top. You can't show up under special appearance unless you come now under special appearance. You notice he didn't come now? This is what happens when you don't know what you're doing. And then FDCPA rule number 8, generally E, generally, not generally. Wow. All they have to do is produce a contract, and they're going to show that this was an intentional securities fraud. This was an intent to defraud Capital One. And you know what? They'll flip this on you real quick. Don't think they won't. So you need to be really careful. If you guys want to understand how to do this stuff properly, I've actually foreclosed on my lenders. I've taken cars, jet skis, all kinds of collateral from my lenders, and never had to do all this. Never had to even show up in here. And here's the problem. When you show up in a place like this, you're in their jurisdiction. And if you're breaking laws, if you're misrepresenting anything about yourself, or you're changing stuff about yourself, which clearly wasn't the case when you were filling out the application, because they wouldn't have given you the credit card. If they knew you were a non-citizen, if they knew you were a non-resident. But the reality is that most of us are citizens and most of us are residents because we've actually been here. So when you deal with somebody or you hear somebody lost in the sauce and they start filling your head full of nonsense like this, they're sending you down the street of failure. And if you guys want to learn how to do this stuff properly, schedule an appointment with me. I'd love to meet with you. We've got real results, real experience, and real solutions. Be blessed, everybody.